finally time to do this English final. I was gonna say English final project, but it's not a project. It's just the English final. Create an assignment for who is responsible for the level up or detriment of your academic self. If you don't know what detriment means, I'll go ahead and look it up for you. The state of being harmed or damaged. Used in an example sentence, he is engrossed in his work to do the detriment of his married life. I have no idea what that means. The second definition is a cause of harm or damage. Are y'all getting the gist? Such tests are a detriment to good education. It's funny because my English final is about who's responsible for the level up or detriment of your academic success. And then this Google example sentence talks about the detriment of a test, talks about a test being detrimental to good education. Wow, it's funny how things just link. Oh my God.
Driving on the road like I'm the only one. Shooting to the green, I'm talking only one. Bible on the dash, stay with the Holy One. I know I put in work, they didn't notice none. Switch gears, clubhouse, took me 6 years, marble floors, gold trim, feel like I'm Richie Rich, Italian left, French suede.
Now, the question was, who is responsible for the detriment of one's academic self? If you ask an older person this, if you ask a adult that's probably past the age of 40, no, 40 is too young. If you ask an adult past the age of 50, I guarantee you their answer is going to be yourself. They're going to say, I'm responsible for the detriment of my academic self. If it's my sister, they're going to say she's responsible, blah, blah, blah. I agree with that, but partially. I happen to have a tendency of loving to prove the older generations wrong. This is a little bit off topic, but an example, hear me out. Dreading a job and not wanting to work that job and staying there, that's not good. Back then, they would have done it, and they would have been like, that's hard work, you're doing a great job, just stick it out. No, me, I'm gonna quit. And a lot of older people, they have the mindset of work hard. No, I'm not gonna work hard, I'm just gonna work smart. Okay, no, forget it. I do not agree that it's just one person. That person alone is responsible for the detriment of their academic self. Part of me, I do agree with that. You are responsible for the detriment of your academic self because nobody can make you do anything. You control what you do. You make your own decisions. Like, nobody can really make you do anything. What are they gonna do? Whoop you? I mean, somebody could hold a gun up to your head, but come on, let's be realistic. How many times is that gonna happen in your everyday life? We control what we do. Just like I was trying to get $15, I stopped at 1501. Whose fault is that? It's my fault. But this is not that. This is a whole different story. Now, I just left my mother's house, and she's my mother, so let's talk about parents and the detriment on one's academic self. A lot of parents pressure their kids to make good grades in college. Why? I have no idea, but I honestly feel like that pressure could honestly break a lot of students because the student goes the extra mile that they don't need to go because they're worried about their parents thinking about their grades. Now, me personally, my parents have never really cared too much about my grades. This is not me saying that they're bad parents or they don't care about my well-being, but my parents know that I'm smart. And when you're in college, as long as you are passing, I think that's what all that matters, because on your degree, it says nothing about your GPA. It says nothing at all about your GPA. I honestly do believe that parents can be a lot of students' downfall, because if you put too much pressure on something, it's eventually going to break. And that's just putting pressure on a student that they don't need, because they have a million other things in their daily life to think about. But their parents pressuring them to get these ridiculous grades, oftentimes it can distract the student more than it can keep the student focused. Reverse psychology, if you ask me. My next point, it isn't a person, not necessarily a person, because the question is who is responsible, but I believe this does fit into the category of who. Y'all see all of these businesses behind me? Marshalls, Five Below, and then an Aldi's, all right there. Right here we have Best Buy, Michael's, Office Max. It goes down the entire strip. What do all of those relate to, or what is the point of all these businesses being out here? Money. A lot of students decide to work in college, and truth be told, a lot of these students don't have a choice but to work in college, especially going to an HBCU, especially being African American. So I said especially going to an HBCU, but I kind of take that back, because I've come to realize that a lot of the students at my HBCU parents are rich. So let's just say African American instead of being at an HBCU. There's a history of African Americans, black people coming up later than white people. A lot of white families have that money to provide for their children while they are in college. Meanwhile, a lot of black families, everybody in the family is working, no matter they just graduated. Some are still working in high school. The parents are working for sure because they have to provide. But some parents can't even provide for themselves. So how will they provide for their kids in college? There are a lot of students who have to work almost full-time while being in college, and this can be super detrimental to their academic self. If they don't work, how are they going to pay for school? How are they going to survive? So at that point, work does become a priority over the academics, because as long as they do the bare minimum with the academics, they can pass the class. As far as work, they have to go to work, and work is usually 4 or 5 hour shifts. If you're in college, those 4 or 5 hours of work could probably go to studying or just being in that more school environment. That way one's academic self could level up, which was the opposite of the detrimental part. It was leveling up, but they can't level up because work is being so detrimental to their academic self. Okay, y'all, so right now I'm in my Spanish class from high school. A lot of people don't like coming back to their high schools because like they want to move on, but I actually enjoyed high school and all of my teachers I liked pretty much. So that's Miss Kawonen back there. And the next thing I wanted to talk about who can be detrimental to a student's academic self, and I think it's teachers. Now, me personally, I've never had bad teachers. All my teachers let me be who I was inside of their classrooms. Like, I still learn and things like that, but at the same time, I didn't have to change who I was when I went to class. And a lot of people don't understand that school can be an escape for students because nobody knows what we have going on at home or just out in the real world. But school, it puts everybody almost at the same level again, and teachers can shape how school goes. If you have a bad teacher, it's a possibility you can have a bad school experience and your grades could drop. But if you have a good teacher that actually cares, like Miss Kawonen back there, school becomes, I wouldn't say it becomes easier, but it does become easier. Being in the environment becomes easier, and then everything else just falls into line. It's like a domino effect. Yeah. Okay, y'all, so right now I'm in my speech class. I took this class when I was a sophomore in high school. So this was about 4 years ago. Anyways, this is my speech teacher, Miss Pereira.
Hey.
And y'all, she's gonna tell y'all like the effects that she thinks a teacher can have on a student.
The effects that a teacher can have on a student. If you've created the right rapport, we become school moms and school dads and school aunties. And so the effect is it's tremendous. A lot of times our students rely on us for a lot more than just teaching them, grammar and spelling and arithmetic and stuff like that. We are the ones who they spend most of their time with during the day. And I think because of that, we need to look at them holistically as people and not so much as numbers or as averages or percentages, but more that they're going out into the world and they're going to make something of themselves. And I think we need to support that. And I think that's what we're doing.
So yeah, these are the walls of my high school. A lot of my classes were down this hallway. Hopefully I get one of my favorite teachers is still here, my math teacher.
Oh, I suppose.
Okay, so y'all, this is Miss Ballard, one of my favorite teachers ever. Y'all, like, do you think I was good in your class? Would you consider me good in your class?
Like behavior?
Okay, we know grade wise I was pretty decent. As far as behavior.
Yeah, you were a little silly.
A little silly? Okay, y'all, she let me be me 100%. Well, sometimes I overdid it, but she let me be me 100% in her class, and like I never had to change or anything like that. She always made sure that I was good. If I was quiet, everybody knew something was wrong. I never felt like I didn't exist in her classroom. So do you think that teachers have a big effect on a student's level up or detriment?
For sure. I think that's like what you just said is exactly what I hope every kid who walks out of my room feels.
See?
Absolutely.
I told y'all, like, I'm just good at this.
Yeah.
So once again, we ask who is responsible for a student's level up or a student's detriment. I don't even know if I'm saying this in the right way. As far as the detrimental part, yes, it can be the student, but there are also factors that the student has to face. A lot of people probably won't realize until they are a student. Who is responsible for the level up or detriment of your academic self? There's not one answer. Miss Chromes, if you're looking for just one answer, then I don't have an answer for you, because there's not one specific answer. If somebody says you, they're wrong, because it's not just you. I mean, we are responsible for our own academic self or our own level up or detriment, but it's not just us. A student can only do so much. There's so many other things that come into factor, and that's just life. As I'm editing this, I'm coming up with thoughts. Of course, you're the only person who, when you have a test, you're the only person who writes your own answers down. You write your own responses down. You do your own work, correct? So you can kind of determine how you get on that test. But you have these things going on in your mind. You have life going on in the background. So to somebody say one person is completely responsible for the detriment of the academic self, that's kind of selfish, because you never know what somebody's really going through and the things that are hindering them from being a true scholar. Just something else to add. There's never one, unless we're talking about a math problem or imaginary numbers, there's never just one exact answer for questions like this. I'm not the only person responsible for the detriment or level up from academic self. We have me, of course, we've already said that. You have teachers, you have family, and then you have your living situation. A rich kid, it's very possible for a rich kid to have better grades than a kid that's broke, because their life situations are completely different. It's probably easier for a kid who has supportive parents to get better grades than a kid who has parents who are maybe beating them or parents who are on drugs. There's not just one answer. That's my answer. You know, at this point, I'm not even concerned about what grade I'm gonna get. I did have fun making this video. So, Miss Chromes, I hope you have a great break. I have you next semester, I'm pretty sure. And all the teachers who are in this video, all the teachers that I talked to today, thank you so much. You all helped me throughout high school. I genuinely did enjoy high school. All of my teachers were great. Even if they weren't good teachers, they were good people. And that made me enjoy going to class. So, thank you all. Love you all. I'm finally done with my English project.
It hurt for the hurt somebody. Start singing louder for the crowd.